Hi folks, and welcome to Admiral's Academia. I'm Admiral Ann Cash. Most folks just call me Admiral. Today's class is online autocrating. So just a few housekeeping things. If you are here in chat, say hello. Let me know that you're there. Otherwise, in chat, you'll also see that there is a Discord link. If you would like to sign in for credit for this class, please go to that link, and you can sign in on any channel on the Discord, but we will be on the 9 Blaze schedule event. If you have any questions throughout this class, you can ask me through that Discord channel right there, or through chat right here. Please just remember that there is a 20-second delay, so I will see, dude, fantastic. I will see your messages about 20 seconds after you type them. So just have that in mind. Northern Lights, fantastic. Dame Alana Two Trees, always glad to see you here. All right, we got some folks here. This is wonderful. Okay, I think that's about it. If we're good, it looks like I have the go-ahead from my tech, and we're good to start. So let's just dive right in, shall we? Okay, here we go. Krista Groves, hello, welcome. Okay, what is this? Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. For those that have seen my classes before, I pick a very, very simple structure. We do the what, who, when, where, why, and how. So that way, right off the bat, you know the structure of the class, you know what's going to be coming next, and you'll be able to follow along and know approximately when we'll be wrapping up. When we get to that how section, if there is any questions that I haven't gone over yet, if there's any topics I haven't gone over, or anything you'd like me to repeat or rephrase or go over in any sort of in-depth, or if you have any random question that might be super situational, very specific, all that is fine, good and dandy, and I would be more than happy to go over any questions at that point. So start thinking of those now, and you can feel free to tag me in chat and post those at any time. I will be going back after the how to just go through and check all the questions that we have. I'll stop after every slide and check the questions to see if there's any questions that go over that particular section, so that I can just answer it real quick in that time. Other than that, we'll have that open AMA at the end. Okay, sound good? Good stuff. Okay, so what is this class? This is online autocrating, so what this comes down to is AmpGuard online events. So these can be broken down into basically two sections. You have an event that is augmented to fit online, which is normally something, an event that would be done live in person, but is being altered to be able to fit the online format. Or you have an event that is specifically created to be online and would not be run in person otherwise. So that's the basics of basically what we'll be breaking down in this class. Okay, who? Who is going to be all of the individuals as you, the online autocrat, will be dealing with throughout your event and prior and after. So, who? The monarchy team. This is going to be officers that you might have to deal with when presenting a bid. These are officers that you might need to be dealing with if they are presenting awards at court. If you have an event where court is, let's say like a mid-reign or an end-reign coronation, where you will be hosting court, where you have to facilitate that particular ceremony. You will have to be able to coordinate with them to make sure that you have your tests going, they have audio and visual available to them, and they're familiar with the platform that you're going to be using. And anything else that might end up going down with that. Of course, we'll go into that later. Other than that, the attendees. The attendees is the most important aspect of this, because that's who we create these events for. It's going to be for the attendees. So when you have an event, keep the attendees in mind. Make sure that whatever you are creating, it is for the enjoyment of others. Have them in mind, and that can help you figure out the best sort of event that you want to run with them in mind, and thinking of what will be a draw to them, what will be entertaining for them, what will be helpful or useful, in any sort of thing around that sort of category. Now, you as Autocrat, if this is, again, like you're doing an actual event where it's like a coronation or a mid-reign. I'm going to say end reign also because I realize we in the Nine Blades, we refer to it as coronation, but there's a lot of folks in other kingdoms that call it end reign. So with that in mind, I'll try to incorporate both just to help with some confusion points. Okay, so if you are doing the generalized event for a park or kingdom, when you are creating a bid, when you are working with a team, these are the following crats you're most likely going to be dealing with in an online setting. You, obviously, the Autocrat. The Techcrat. The Techcrat is going to be the one running all of this, right? They're going to be dealing with the platform or platforms you might be using for the event. They're going to be running any sorts of tech tests with anyone that would end up either speaking or being on camera throughout the event. And they'll be live dealing with any sorts of hiccups that might happen along the way. They'll be troubleshooting those problems as they go. This is probably the most important crat for an online event. So make sure you treat them very kindly, make sure that they have anything that they need, facilitate those needs, and make sure that you are in really good communication and you folks are on the same page as you're going throughout that event, because that's the person. So at this point, I'm going to shout out Sir Woonjo, as he has been my Techcrat for literally every online event that I have run so far, and is literally even doing it for this class right now. So thank you. Phils don't know. No, that is my husband. So, okay, moving on. Troll or gate. Again, in our kingdom, we call it a trollcrat. In other kingdoms, they refer to it as gate. So again, try to mix this up because we have so many out of kingdom folks that I'm so excited are actually coming to these. So side note, thank you for coming, appreciate it. So these are going to be the individuals that will be dealing with sign-ins. If you have credits available for your event, they'll be handling all those types of sign-ins. If you have an event where there is a fee to attend, again, that's going to be the individual that will be dealing with any money transfers, any sort of thing where an attendee would be paying to attend said event. So basically, standard like you do in person, but on the online side of it, remember that there isn't going to be a physical handoff of physical money. So it's gonna have to be some sort of online transferring system. So it's gonna be very, very important that you figure out what that is ahead of time, that you work with the chancellor of your park or kingdom, depending on who you're working with there. And the troll or gatecrat, especially if they are not the chancellor, to make sure that you know how these funds are going to be transferred. Right? Are you using PayPal? Are you using just e-transfers? Right? Does your park or kingdom have a bank account? Are you going to be taking those and then getting the lump sum and then transferring that over, right? It's those types of things that you're going to want to keep in mind. I'll go into a little later about bid stuff and P&Ls and all that fun stuff. So we're gonna wait for that. Fundraiser crat. You might end up doing a fundraiser at your event. If you are doing so, hey, having a fundraiser crat. This person will be specifically handling all sorts of fundraising aspects, right? If you're running an auction, they'd run the auction. If you're doing any number of other fundraising aspects, right, that would be the person in charge. Again, this would be another one of those financial transactions sort of rules that, again, you're going to want to make sure that they have good contact with the chancellor, making sure that everything is on the up and up. If you are associated with a non-for-profit organization, you're going to want to make sure that any sort of fundraiser that you're doing is legal in that particular government thing, making sure it's on the up and up, because there's some restrictions depending on the NPO that you're under, depending on the country that you're in. Things will vary between countries, right? In the Nine Blades, we're in Canada. We are not in the States, so we have different things. Some things, of course, will be similar or the same, but that's not a guarantee across the board, so you always want to just make sure that that's all straightened, especially with how many interkingdom events that we're doing at this point. Just making sure that, especially if you are from another country and you are being, a fundraiser-crat for a park or kingdom that's in another country, you want to make sure that you know what the rules and the laws are, to make sure that you're not going to be getting anyone or yourself into trouble. So you want to just make sure everything's on the up and up. Okay. Instructors. Some events have classes. A lot of classes, actually. A lot of classes right now. So if you do have classes, you have instructors to teach those classes. If you have... you can have an event where you have somebody that's in charge of the instructors, especially if you're doing multiple different activities at an event and classes are only just a portion of that. You can literally just have somebody that is the instructor-crat, essentially, where they will be hiring teachers to come and teach. They'll be in charge of making sure that the communication is there, that they're hiring them, that they fully understand the scheduling of where they fit in, and again can help facilitate the communication between the instructors and the autocrat. Now, some autocrats will end up just being the person that will run that themselves. So it's just, if you want to delegate, that's an option for you. Otherwise, if you're like me and are super hands-on when autocrating, right? I just like to do all that organizing myself. Sort of cut out the middle person, and I can sort of remove that chain of that telephone game of having an intermediary be communicating with my team. So I like to just be communicating one-on-one with my crats and my my volunteers. So that's sort of just my approach. But that's me. Everyone has their own particular styles and strengths and weaknesses. And when you are running an event or doing really anything else in this game, remember, especially for this class, for any class you're going to go to, remember that the classes that we teach, what I am telling you here in this class, these are things that have worked for me. These are things that work with my style. But it doesn't mean you have to do them exactly the same. It may work really good for you, or it might not be 100% the best thing for you, right? So make sure you take everything with a grain of salt, figure out what works best for you, try different things. If these things do work for you, fantastic. Just know that I will never at any point say you have to do it like this, or you're wrong, right? This is just a way to do this. This is what I have found to work really well. So take that as you will as we go on further in this class. So I always like to just specify that, make that very clear. These are suggestions and advice. Okay. Quest. Oh, sorry. One more thing. For instructors, one thing to keep in mind. Make sure that you're able to vet your instructor in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just having a conversation with them, and in that conversation seeing, have they taught before? Do they know about, like, what are they teaching? How well do they know that topic? you always want to be just very careful when you are autocrating an event where there's teachers involved, because teaching is a very I don't want to say sacred, but I like to think of them as just this sort of they can do great things or do a lot of harm. There are some folks with amazing intentions and they are good people that are just trying to help, but they might not know their topic. They might not have correct information, and if they teach or instruct bad habits, that can end up doing a lot of harm to their students. When a student comes to a class, there is a level of trust that is there, where the student doesn't have a reason to not believe the teacher. And if they are teaching, they're in sort of this kind of position of authority in that moment. And that's a lot of trust to put in a person. You do not want to break the trust of a student at any point in time. So it is extremely important that you just make sure that you got teachers that know what they're talking about, that they are trained in that topic. That's the only thing I want to say about that, because it's just, you always just want to be careful. You just want to be super careful about that kind of thing. Yeah. But again, right, it's very, very easy to tell. A 5-minute conversation, and you can tell if somebody knows what they're talking about. Right, there's a million credentials that we have in this game as well as real world credentials as well. If somebody went to university for a particular thing, there's a good chance that they know about that thing, right? For instance, if they are a knight of that thing, there's a good chance that they have a good amount of knowledge about that thing, right? But you do not need a degree, and you do not need to have a knight belt to be able to teach, or to have the knowledge and training to be able to teach. So I also want to specify that. Don't discard people just because they don't have some sort of fancy nonsense title, okay? That's the second thing. Okay, I am rambling now, apologies. Okay, Questocrat. So if you do have a quest in your event, you're going to want a Questocrat. This is going to be the individual that will create the quest. They will hire NPCs, if that's the type of quest that they're running. If not, they might play all the NPCs. The cool thing about an online atmosphere that we have is that someone can literally just run a quest and be everything because it's online, right? You don't have to have yourself being in costumes, changing up, running to different locations on a field, and having to be everywhere at once, where that's not really realistic. If you are in a situation where you're online, right? A lot of D&D campaigns have these types of setups. A lot of just over voice text, that sort of thing. QMs can fill a lot of roles. Yes, the Foobard, I am absolutely calling you out right now. You are a very good example as somebody that could literally just plays all the roles, doesn't need any NPCs, and just creates the world like that. This particular Nine Blades player, really fantastic at that, so shout out. Absolute shout out. Right onto the bus with ye. Okay. And I have etc. in there. The reason why I specifically put etc. is that we have an infinite amount of possibilities of things that we can run, and we are only limited by our imaginations at this point. We don't know all the things that there can be because we haven't done them yet. So when you are running an event, think outside the box. You don't have to go, okay, what did the last person do? Okay, so I have to have this, and I have to have this, and I have to have this at my event. No. No. You do not have to do it like everyone else. Now, if you feel more comfortable where you go, hey, I went to that event and it worked really well and people really enjoyed themselves, yes, by all means, you can take that sort of skeleton of an event and incorporate it into whatever you want to do for yourself. Absolutely, that can help. But you can also just do something that has never been done before. You can reach outside the box, you can try something else, and then have a crap for it if you're not doing it yourself, right? Whatever that thing might be, you can have a crap for that. So it's always just important to remember that if you have something where you have a header and a team for that, it's usually a good signal that you need a crap for that position. Again, to help facilitate that group and to help be the go-between for communication, especially if you're running a multi-day event where or if you are trying to wrangle a lot of people. This is going to be really good to have a solid team. Remember also, when in doubt, pick folks that you know and trust. But also, caveat, don't be afraid to also go out on a limb and give somebody a chance. Also, there's some folks out there that have the potential to be amazing crats, but they are lesser known. They've never gotten that shot before. So don't disregard those folks. Those folks could be the next master smiths of this game. But if they don't get the shot, then we'll never know, and they'll never know. So keep that in mind too. So do trust your gut. Give folks a chance if that opportunity comes. But if you're in a tight spot and you need to put a team together, it's also, a safety net thing is to go with folks that you can rely on, are trustworthy and you worked with before and know that you have a good dynamic. That can make things just go a lot smoother. So sometimes what I like to do is I'll have like my core, like there's specific folks that are my go-tos just every time. Just like my fundraiser crat is always the same person. It's my tech crat, right? Always the same person. But there's other crap positions where I'll branch out and go, hey, who wants a shot at this? So the things where I feel less comfortable with, where I know that I can't try to step in and take over that role if something goes down, those are the roles where I go, okay, who do I know I can trust every single time to do this? Cool, I'm going to go to them. But other things where I know that I can also step in case something goes wrong, if they bail or something comes up, right? Those are the crap positions that I'll tend to go out more and try to find folks that want a chance, if that makes sense. Okay, that is all of the who. We're going to move on to the when. Again, if you have any questions throughout this, please tag me, just because I know that chat fills up super quick. I'm just going to quickly look, see if there's anything to do. Yes, give them mentors. Yeah, that's actually fantastic advice. Even if you're going to go with your go-to folks, right? You can have somebody else be in that position and have that go-to person be the one to be their mentor and to guide and assist them if they need any help. Or even when you do have a list of crats, right? You can also go out and see if there's anyone that wants to shadow them. If they don't feel that they're ready to go in and do that position themselves, especially if you're going to do like a kingdom event, they've never done it before, you can always just open it up and go, hey, does anyone want to shadow these folks, right? That way they can see the behind the scenes thing, and they can go and sorry, my thing just popped open. Clip. They can go in and see the workload. They can see how the communication works and how difficult it might be to pull it off, and see if that's something that they're still excited and are like, yeah, I can do this. Or they might go, think I want a little bit more time. Maybe try this at a local level or something like that, right? But absolutely having folks be able to mentor others or to shadow their mentors, fantastic. Yes, by all means. I am a huge supporter of just teaching in general. So yes, do the thing. 100% great advice. Thank you, Fitz. When in doubt, no, the FUBAR, there's no burning down duchies. That we've talked about this. This is why we can't have nice things. Don't burn everything down. So I was leaving office, I said don't burn everything down, and all they heard was burn everything down, and now everything's on fire. No nice things. This is why. Okay. Just real quick, just checking to see if there's anything else before we move on. Morden, I just said don't. That's why we can't have nice things. Okay. Side message, don't burn everything down. That's not a good thing for online autocrating. If everything's on fire, no one can attend an event. Okay, moving on to when. When are these things happening? Again, there are, again, two sort of things that you're going to see in these kind of atmosphere, I'm going to say. Mid-reign, Koro, end-reign. That's going to be local level and kingdom level. Again, it might be an inter-kingdom event, because those are absolutely happening right now. And then special events. These are going to be things where they are not attached to a park necessarily, or a kingdom. It might be something that is a particular person or particular group is running a specific thing. It's a one-off, or it might be a set of things, but it's specifically not tied to like a Koro or a mid-reign or something else like that. This is where I'm gonna give a shout out to the recent event that just happened, which was a huge interkingdom awesomeness that was run for the the Spring Medieval Academy. There we go. The Academy of Knowledge. You folks are amazing. Thank you again for putting that through. It was a huge event with a bunch of teachers from kingdoms all over Amtgard. Really stellar job. It was super amazing, and it was so fun to be a part of. So thank you again for letting me teach. Okay. So one big thing to keep in mind, especially when we are dealing with international audiences and folks that are coming to your event from different kingdoms, especially for interkingdom events. Time zones. Time zones are a thing. Gotta make sure that you have what time zone that you're in, and if you're able to, you can throw in. That was one thing from the event, the Spring Medieval Academy. They actually had for every class, they had every time zone for each class, which was so cool to see. And that's something definitely I want to start incorporating in the future. When I did Paragon Bootcamp, there was somebody that I posted the event in an Alaska group, and somebody asked what it would be in Alaskan time, and I just went, oh my god, I just gave you this entire schedule in Eastern Standard Time. That's completely useless to you. And then I was just like, oh, right. And then I converted the entire schedule and reposted it in their time zone. So that's absolutely a thing to consider. There's going to be some things for, like, if you have a specific, like, day scheduled, Facebook events will convert that into whoever's reading it into their time zone. But if you are just making a post inside there that has time zone, then that won't be converted. If you're making just a generalized post in a Facebook group, that won't be converted. And they'll be so used to seeing events where it will be in their time zone that they will assume that that Facebook post is in their time zone, and they might not even notice you putting, EST in there. So making it very clear, that can really help also. The biggest thing for being an autocrat is trying to avoid miscommunication and breakdowns of communication. You want to be very clear. You want to make sure that the information is out there. Time zones will absolutely mess things up. If your own team could end up in a absolute mess if you are dealing with folks in different time zones, if you do not communicate to them what time zone the event is in, and be able to convert for them if they need it. Work with each one of them. Make sure that you ask them what time zone they're in, because you'll also end up with crats that are from a specific time zone that are not living in their park or kingdom right now. They might have been displaced. They might be with family. They might have recently moved. I've literally dealt with all of those cases. So you really have, you never know. And there's some kingdoms that you may not know are in a different time zone. That's another thing. So the biggest thing is make sure that you know what time zone they're in, communicate with them, make sure that they understand what time zone you are in, and clear with them if they're okay with you using your own time zone, if they're able to convert it, or if you need to translate it for them to make those conversions for them. Some folks deal with folks in other specific time zones so much that it's just they auto know what it is, and they don't need it. So you just want to, again, just communicate, make sure that's clear. Okay, again, we'll move on to the next. I'm just going to read this one out loud, so I don't know actually what it says, so here we go. How do you make sure all your crats are communicating as much as they need to? Example, do you have conversations with them about their communication styles, etc.? How do you make sure you're not taking on too much as an autocrat? What methods do you use to support your team, your crat team, as an autocrat? Which methods have you found are most effective? How much lead time do instructors and activity runners need to test tech properly? Okay, so I am covering all of that in the how, so I will absolutely get to that. I'm gonna hold off for right now, but I will absolutely come back to all of that, and I will answer each one individually if they're not already answered in the how slide. So 100% definitely will absolutely address that. Yeah, the event that just happened, they were in every time zone. It was, oh my gosh, that's nuts. Yeah, no, amazing. This is the crazy silver lining of this moment. There is a great deal of horribleness happening right now, and has happened, and will happen, unfortunately. But the silver lining is that we have these platforms, we have these different ways of presenting events, different ways of communicating, and different ways of connecting with folks that normally we wouldn't be able to. We can have events where we have audiences from every kingdom, that we have crats from every kingdom present. And otherwise, that's a very rare thing. So that's the silver lining in this moment, and we should use it while we got it. Also, for those, again, who usually attend my events, water. Any sort of hydration method you have, please hydrate along. Hydration is super important. Side tip. Even when you are sitting on your couch running an event, you still need to hydrate. Your team still needs to hydrate. Make sure they're hydrating. Hydrate along. Okay. So we'll get into the where. Where, obviously online, but you're going to be dealing with platforms. So the typical platforms we have been using has been Discord, Zoom, Facebook, and there are others. There are others out there. But I want to say those are the three tops. And each one is different, and each one has pros and cons to them. And you can also use multiple platforms. So just know that you don't have to do an event where everything is just on Zoom or just on Discord. But it's going to be a personal preference to you, to your crats, and to what your perhaps your kingdom is most used to. What is familiar, what is easily understandable about it. You're going to want to just do the things that there is a high level of understanding, you have full access and control over, and that you're able to help explain to others also. So for me, for my events, we primarily do... Oh, I don't even have the... I don't have Twitch on there. I'm literally teaching a class on Twitch right now, and I don't have Twitch on there. That's on me. Wow. Swing and a miss, me. Okay. Twitch is great. Twitch, we've been using, like, all of my events have been massively done through Twitch. There's strengths and weaknesses to each platform. Right, we're about to do Clash of Talons, and that one's going to be 100% on Discord. Each kingdom has their own specific thing that they tend to use, but as an autocrat, right, do not feel that you must do them in a particular platform. Do the one that you are familiar with, and the one that is going to be the best suited for the activities that you are going to attempt to do. Consider also being able to record things. There's a lot of things that folks will be really interested in that they won't be able to attend live. So I'm going to say, for the sake of posterity, also, for folks that want to have the knowledge and experience of those things in future dates, when we are not here online and live doing them. Again, that's one of the really nifty things that we have about this time, especially with the platforms that we're using in the different programs. We do have the ability to record things and put them up for later viewing, right? You can also do things like, for instance, what we're doing here, right? Where it's live streamed on something like Twitch, and then uploaded to something like YouTube later, right? Right, all of my classes are then we put onto YouTube, because that's just an easier place to find them, to send them, and to view them, than going into my own personal Twitch account and trying to go through those and all the highlight reels and all that, right? It's just, we find that it's a little bit easier for people to view on YouTube. So that's the thing to consider also. Where you're going to put it, where you're going to save it, and how you're going to record it. So that's going to be the biggest thing when choosing your platforms. I'm going to go into tech test stuff later and explain that, so I'm not going to get there too far. There we go. Okay. Why? Why are we doing this? So again, I'm going to break this down into two things. Restrictions, which is the super obvious elephant in the room. We do these when we are prevented from doing them live. Obviously, for all of us that are live in this moment experiencing this, We are in a pandemic. There's a lot of places right now that are in super crazy strict lockdowns where we cannot see. Like, we had a thing before where you could have groups of 10. You could see people outside of your households. We don't have that. We have a stay-at-home order. You can only see the people in your household. I'm in Toronto, Canada. We are in a really bad situation here. So we cannot be having live events. That's not a thing. We cannot have small restricted events. Legally, we cannot. Morally, we shouldn't be, but we can't. So that's why we do this online. Now, the flip side of that, and the thing to consider for the future when we aren't in, a crazy pandemic, is that we can also do these online for the opportunities. Again, like I previously mentioned, we are able to reach an audience that normally we couldn't. You're going to have a much huger audience than you would if you had a live event and folks had to take a plane trip or a several hour or several day trip in a car. You can literally have the convenience of sitting on your couch anywhere in the world and be able to come to these events. And also, again, you can have crats be a part of your team that normally couldn't. So again, folks that are in different countries, folks that are different time zones, different areas, different kingdoms, where normally they would not be able to physically show up live to your event. You're able to have just an amazing amount of people from amazing stretch of area be able to be crats for your event. So use it while you got it, I'm going to say. Use this time wisely. And then also please remember that when we are back to normal, when we get back to field, that we do not need to abandon this online space. We don't need to abandon online events. They're obviously not going to be as often, especially for things like Koros and mid-reigns and end-reigns and all that. But it doesn't mean that we can't live stream events. It doesn't mean that we can't create these specialized events, that we can't do things like this where we're teaching classes. There's so many bardics happening online right now. We don't have to stop doing that just because we aren't in restricted times. So just keep that in mind and know that we just have this amazing thing that we have just begun to explore. There's so much more we can do with this, and we don't have to let it go forever when this is over. So, food for thought. Okay. This is going to be the big section of this class. This is the how. So we're going to go into all of that nitty-gritty stuff. So again, if you can quickly look on this, if you do not see a question that you have on this list, start typing those now to make sure that 20 seconds later I will be able to see them. I can find them. Again, if you tag me, it'll be a lot quick and easy for me to find those for you. And also, if you want to go over any sort of brainstorming stuff, if you want to go over any specific situational thing or hypothetical thing, this is the time. Go for it. Super open AMA. So again, I'm going to quickly just look to see if there are any questions that pertain to any of the slides previously mentioned or any of the topics that we've already discussed to make sure I am not missing anything. Okay, cool. Side note, with just for conversation that's going on there, 110% agree. We absolutely should be doing these things. Keep in mind also for kingdoms that deal with crazy winters, or even just like super crazy hot summers. This is also a space that we can be using to engage with AmpGuarders during those times where our field numbers are getting very low, where participation is an issue. Think also, as somebody who is disabled, these are extremely accessible means to reach an audience of individuals that may not always be able to be present on a field. This is the type of thing where folks with accessibility needs can still be a part of AmpGuard and be have a place, can run things and can view things and be participants when they are not able to do so on field. So that's another thing to consider for online events. These are resources that we can be using and should be using to engage all of our players, not just the ones that are super mobile and can go out and do those things. So, random food for thought. And remember to hydrate. Drink all the things. Okay. Okay, this is a big one. Let's go. Whoop, whoop. Okay, structure of your event. It's going to be very important for you to know the type of event that you're doing. Is it an event where it's all classes? Is it an event where it's all quests? Is it an event where you're going to have a bardic and a quest in some lectures and random open RP, ANS hangouts, right? Craft-alongs, readings of books, Jackbox games, right? There's a million things. There's a million things that we can and have been doing. So it's important to know what sort of event that you are running. At that point also, know how many days you're going to be running it. Are you doing a 1-day event or are you doing a 3-day event? Are you doing a crazy week-long thing? Are you doing an event that it's 9 days because your kingdom has 9 in it and you decided that was apparently not a crazy thing to do? That was us. We did that. I blame Katie Dean entirely for that. I just helped a little. It's important to know what you're dealing with. What you think you're going to be able to pull off, what are the needs of the group that you're doing it for, or if it's just a thing you're doing yourself, right? You have complete and utter control over how long or how short you want to do a thing, but it's important, write that all out, plan everything. Finding your CRAT team, right? Again, we covered a lot of this in the previous section of the Who's. So remember all the different CRATs, but again, you're going to want to find a team ahead of time. This is before you present your bid. That's going to be super important. Know who you are, at least have in mind who you want to work with. And at the very least, have the core team, maybe talk to them ahead of time to make sure that, you know, the core crats are taken care of. Or you don't want to present a bid and then go, oh, right, we literally can't find anyone to pull this off with, and now it falls to me, and I don't know any of those particular things, so the event now can't happen, right? You don't want to put in a kingdom bid, not be able to have any crats for it, and then try to pull it off all yourself last minute. You're not gonna have a good time. And this may not be a successful event either, so that's always a danger. Find your team. Now, there's going to be some crap positions that you can get after the bid. It's not earth-shattering. But again, have a few people in mind. Have, like, your first pick. Have maybe a backup for that. You might even think of, like, top of your head, who's, like, the top 3 people that you think can pull off this thing? Right? You can go with that. the bid. The bid is crazy, crazy crucial. Now, again, this is if you are dealing with a mid-reign, Koro, and reign. This is going to be something that is required for those. Again, if you're doing your own thing, you don't need a bid. Do whatever you want. It's freedom. It's very nice, actually. But for the bid, what you're going to want on there is the schedule. The schedule is going to be crucial. Keep in mind transition times. If you have something starting at this time and ending at this time, and the next thing starts at the same time, you are giving yourself 0 transition time. That means that if you have to switch up cameras, you have to end a call with one person, start a call with another person, make sure that you've communicated that they are on deck, that they're ready to go, that their internet is working, and everything's good to go. They forgot about their time slot, and now you're going, oh, you're supposed to be on right now, and time is now ticking. If you give yourself no transition time, that's going to just push everything on your schedule, and then by the end, you'll be 1 to 2 hours off of your initial planned times. So what you can do is, this is sort of more of the behind the scenes stuff. Outward facing, it might have, this starts at 2, the next thing starts at 3, the next thing starts at 4. When you're talking with the individuals that are running the thing, right, know how much time they need, scheduled for the activity that they're running, but tell them that they have like 10 minutes less. So let them know that they have to wrap off 10 minutes before that next hour mark. So they know to wrap up, where you can start making that transition into the next presenter. You have to put these times in for yourself and to communicate them very clearly with your staff. Because again, you're gonna end up with all sorts of time delays, and the whole rest of your schedule is going to be off completely. So schedule those in. Have those in mind. But again, sidetracking, the bid, you're going to want to have the schedule. You're going to want to have listed every activity during that event on that schedule. You want to have a breakdown explaining what those activities are. Right? You don't want to just say, mystery adventure time, surprise tournament of what? Enigmas. Don't have that. That's not going to be helpful to the person assessing your bid. They're going to be like, we don't know what that is. Is that a liability to us? Is that something that's going to be against our NPO? We have no idea. You've given us 0 information. Even if you're just like, oh, I want it to be a surprise. Don't make it a surprise to the folks that you are bidding to, right? You can have some things be a mystery to your audience, but don't do that for the officers that are judging your bid. Lay it out for them. Please explain. Next up, your Krat team, right? You're going to have the list of Krats that you are going to need and the folks that you are going to have those positions. If you do not know them ahead of time, you simply put TBD, right, to be determined, or if, let's say you're in negotiations, you have somebody that's like, yeah, I've talked to this person and they want to do it. They just need to double check their schedule. They're pretty sure that they're clear, but they don't want to give 100% till Monday they'll know for sure. So put TBA for that, right? So the bid team knows that you do have somebody, but they're not 100% locked in, right? And TBD, right? You can even, something I do on my bids is, to be determined, but we're in communication with them, or we have folks in mind already for this. If the bid goes through, we will finalize all of those. Again, there's gonna, like, for instance, I'm gonna say your troll crap, right? Especially if you just have an event where it's just taking credits, right? A lot of times, the chancellors will be willing to do that for, like the park chancellors. So those definitely good resources, to talk to for those. But, otherwise, right, there's lots of folks that, might be able to do that position. And it's not like your entire bid will fall apart, right? If you don't have a techcrat, and you put in a bid, that's going to be a harder sell, because of how crucial that role is. That's going to be one of those things that you want to have on that bid. That will give the folks assessing that bid a lot more confidence in the bid, knowing that there's somebody that knows what they're doing and also has the tech to do it. There's some programs that are necessary. There's also the understanding of how to operate those programs. It might be a thing of, do they have a proper mic and camera setup? Especially if they're running everything themselves, right? Are they trying to do the entire event off their phone? Is their phone ancient? Do they have are they in a location where, like, they're in the middle of the woods and their internet is, like, every 5 minutes it's there or gone, and it is a flip of a coin, completely unstable. Who knows what your circumstances, right? I've worked with some folks that were, like, in cottages, and it was just like, oh, okay, so this is gonna be an issue. Where, yeah, I'm on a work site now trying to do a tech test, and they're not going to be in their work site on the date of the event, but all of a sudden, right, they're in a totally different situation, and you don't know what's going to go down there. So good things to know. On the bid also, any financial things. If you have a fundraiser, again, state what type of fundraiser you're doing. Again, you want to make sure that it's not going to be breaking any sort of NPO rules. You are also going to want to state if there is any attendance fee. Anything that deals with finances. If the park needs to pay for a program or a platform thing, like if you're doing it on Zoom and you don't have a Zoom account, and you are expecting your park to pay for a month of Zoom subscription, for instance, right? You need to have it on there. Any sort of financial thing, 110% have on that bid. That is super, super important. If you have some things where there's an attendance fee and some things that aren't, right? Have that on there. Also, if you know ahead of time of how you're going to do it, state that as well, right? That's all gonna be really, really important that they need to know for assessing your bid. Missing anything? I think that's the crux of it. That's like at least the majority of like the things you need to have on there. Okay, I'm gonna go into those for sure. Again, remember to hydrate along. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So let's say you did your bid, your thing went through, or on the other side, you are creating an event, a one-off thing that you have created. It is not associated with an event. You do not need to write a bid. You're just doing a thing. Meetings. How you are going to be communicating with your team. First and foremost, even if you don't have a bid, have those things written up. Make sure that the schedule is approved by each individual that is participating in those particular time slots. Again, make sure that they are fully understanding the time zone, and that they can commit to that time block. if you have hard cutoff times, you need to express that right off the bat when they're approving the schedule. For instance, right, how long are we in here? We've been going for an hour and 22 minutes. If I was in a 1 hour hard cutoff time slot for a class, let's say this was an event, I have now taken 22 minutes of the next instructor's class if they want to stay on schedule. So it's those types of things that you need to be super clear. And also make sure that, again, you communicate with your instructors. Make sure, if you have instructors, right, whatever the class is, whatever the quest is, whatever the games or the events or whatever might be in those time slots, make sure that it's a time thing that you are cool with and they are cool with. And both of you need to sign off on that. That is basically like a contract with you and the crat. And again, if you have those hard cutoffs, you need to express that. And then during the event, you want to give them a heads up, a countdown sort of thing, like here's the 10-minute warning, here's a 5-minute warning, wrap up, right? So that they're able to do that. So you're going to also want to have an open line of communication with them that they can see throughout their activity, especially if they're doing a class, right, where they, right, if they have a thing on Discord and their whole screen, like mine is right now, is set up for Twitch. If they send me a thing on Discord, I'm not going to see it, right? I need to have my phone set up where I have Discord open, right? That needs to be pre-established. You need to work out those lines of communication well beforehand. But I have a whole entire section for that, so I'm not going to jump to that too quick. Meetings are going to be very important. What I would highly suggest is have a voice or video meeting with each of your crats, or like team of crats, right? If you have, for instance, right, we're about to do Clash of Talents. I'm going to be having a moderator meeting. So I'm going to have a meeting with all of the mods that are going to be helping us out with this event. So it's not just, I'm not going to just have a chat with the admin of our Discord. I'm going to have a chat with all of our mods at the same time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be present and willing to help out. It's extremely important that that you don't try to do this just through text. This is, you can, sure, if that's how you communicate. If you have issues with other things, right, go with what you can handle. But be advised that text lacks tone. Text can be interpreted in different ways. You can say something and they say, yep, got it, and then find out later that they thought you were explaining a totally different thing and they didn't take it the same way as you intended. And all of a sudden you are not on the same page. For me, I'm a very personal, hands-on sort of autocrat. I want for them to see me and hear me, to know that I am sincere. I'm better at communication and reading things like body language and tone and stuff like that. That's more of how I communicate. So just words in general says a lot less than expression and volume and tone to me. But that's also because I have a disability that particularly involves that. So for me, I can tell if my crat understands me, is paying attention, or going, yeah, no, I get it, yeah, no, that's fine, yep. yeah, of course they're not understanding or even interested in what I'm saying. If they can't look at me and go, okay, yep, I got it. 100%, we're on it, right? Like, there's ways to tell if they're just going, yeah, I don't care, I will say anything to just end this conversation right now, right? You'll know that if you're on video looking at the person, if they're just going thumbs up on a chat, you don't really know if they're actually fully understanding the thing. If they read every word, if they just skimmed through it and went, "Yep, sure," right? Or saw everyone else was posting a thumbs up, so they did it too. You don't know. Um, so the big thing is, right, at least have one, just at least one voice or video call that you can have that connection with them. And then, right, the rest can be in text if needed. And right, you don't want to just talk to your crats once and hope that they got it and see you on the day and have no idea if they have questions, if they fully understood, if there's issues that come up, if they're embarrassed and don't want to tell you about a thing that came up, if you hire them out so early that they forget that they agreed to do a thing and all of a sudden schedule themselves up for something else. You want to have communication throughout when you hire them to the event day, during and after. It's going to be super important. So again, I will go into that a little later. Advertising. You can have the most amazing event, have the most amazing crew, and no one show up. If you just hope that a single post is going to do it, I will tell you, you're not going to have anyone that's going to show up. You're going to have maybe the person's best friend or the significant others, maybe of the person that is cratting, right? Your crat team will be there. But the potential of who you could have there won't be there. So right now, Facebook is like the main place that we as an AmpGuard community communicate through. So it's important that that you realize that that's a thing. But also there's lots of folks on Discord as well. So that's also a place that you can advertise through Discord. But a really easy one where you're going to connect to literally thousands of people is Facebook. So consider that posts get buried like this. A single post directly after your post, and yours just got bumped. They never even saw it. So posting multiple times, posting in different locations, bumping your posts, even having a thing where you make a post and you ask people to write something in it, right? A hype gif, right? Some sort of thing where it's gonna, once people are posting, it's gonna keep on popping it back up to the top, right? That's a technique. If you are running an event for a group or a kingdom, having the admin of that page mark it as an announcement, so that again will move it to the top. Creating a Facebook event page. That, right, you could have a link and just spread it everywhere. Also, if you are listed as going or interested in that event, it will pop up on your notifications as a reminder that that event is about to happen. So again, you might forget a month down the line that, you're like, oh yeah, no, I saw this cool thing, I'm totally gonna go to that. And a month later go, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. That's gonna be in like 2 hours. Okay, good. Glad I saw that, because otherwise I was just gonna miss the entire thing. That's absolutely a thing. Consider also having other folks on your team make posts related to the event, so that you're not just spamming the same thing, right? There's some groups that will not take kindly to you posting the same thing over and over again. But if you're presenting new information, then going, For more information, check out the event page. That'll do. Send it around. Send different parts of that information around. But the biggest thing is do not just post once and expect everyone's going to know it. Facebook just, it's an unfortunate, icky thing. It doesn't go well if you just try to do it once. It's just, this is the angsty me. I can't stand that. It's like, literally, I'll put up a post and somebody will make another post going, hey folks, what's up? And then, oh gosh, like 2 hours of work trying to create an event page, and then it's just no one sees it because somebody just went sup with a silly gif or like posted a random silly meme, and all of a sudden all of my event stuff just got buried in an instant. That's a thing. That is definitely a thing. Also, side note, there are 22 kingdoms in Amtgard. There are 22 Facebook groups for those kingdoms. There is the unofficial Amtgard community page. These are all places that you can join and post in. Also, there's a very large amount of us that are on all of those pages, so you might not see it in your group, but if you are in other kingdoms groups, you might end up seeing it for the first time in a kingdom across the country from you, before you'll see it in your own group. You might never see it in your own group because of it getting buried. So that's also a way for folks to be able to see it, is if you spread it to different kingdoms. You're going to get more eyes on it. You're going to get folks that are going to miss it the first time around. So again, spread it wherever you think it's going to work. But you want to have a base of where you have all that information available. Have all the information available there. And just make sure that it's getting spread and it's you're making more than one post. Okay. Tech tests. Oh my god. I cannot express the essential nature of a tech test. Things to consider when doing a tech test. Make sure that they have their they're doing their tech test with the device that they'll be doing on the day. So do not have them do a tech test on their phone if they intend to do it on their laptop, for instance. Don't do a tech test if they are not even in the building that they will be doing it on the day of the event. So make sure that it's, if you're dealing with the sun at all, right? If you're doing it at night, if you're doing it during sunset, if you're doing it at high noon, right? Anything like that, right? You want to have them in the location that you're going to be doing it. That way you can adjust stuff with lights, right? If you go, okay, where's your light source? Will you have your blinds open or closed during the day? Do you have any windows in the room that you're doing this? Okay, your camera's on, but you're really dark. Do you have any other lights? Okay, can you point this way or this way to... Okay, so on the day, you're going to want to use that random desk light that's popped up this way, or you have like something that you can bounce the light off of that's going to hit your face, right? Like, you actually want to go through the lighting, because that's the thing that's going to affect stuff. Headsets. If you are dealing with folks that are like two people teaching and they're two different locations, something like that, right? Where they're gonna end up picking up having an echo or crazy reverb issues. Have them have headsets, right? Make sure that they have those. Figure out all of that stuff ahead of time. Communicate with them. Also, like when you are hiring somebody to present or run a thing at your event, make sure you have that conversation with them right then and there. you would be shocked at the amount of times that you will have somebody, like, this was a mistake I made really early on, when I would get a presenter and then find out that they didn't have a camera, that they just assumed it would be done through voice and it wasn't on camera. It would be just like a thing like, oh yeah, no, I don't own a headset. Oh, I don't have a mic. I have a camera, I just don't have a mic. Is that a problem? It's like, right? For somebody teaching a class, not having a mic is a pretty significant problem. So that sort of stuff. Something that, Woonjo does is, he has this link for, a speed test, an internet test, to see what their internet speed is like. Because that's going to affect things too. If their internet is spotty, if their Wi-Fi is not particularly good, they could end up freezing in the middle. They might have drop calls here and there. You want to be able to. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just saw mime your class. I kind of love that. I mean, okay, so technically speaking, you can actually you can literally just sign your class. So if you are in that particular situation, you don't need a mic and you can just do your whole class through mime. So I want to see that sometime. Okay, so but for all other classes, yeah, you're probably gonna want to have a mic. Or as Dame Alana says, mime your class. So it's gonna mime the rest of this class. Okay, there we go. Don't let me do side tangents. Who is monitoring me right now? Sorry, I was left unsupervised. I'm gonna go with that. Okay. Okay, so again, tech test, you're going to want to make sure that they're going to use the same device, any lighting. Also, go over set deck with them. Whatever the camera is going to be on, that's what they're going to be seeing. You can have a complete and utter mess everywhere else, so long as you don't got it in the square. It's uncomfortable for the presenter if they have a bunch of nonsense otherwise, but also for the person that is viewing, it can be a really big distraction. There's some folks that have issues with like overload, where if they see too much stuff, it's too much to process and it makes them uncomfortable. So oddly enough, that can be a thing. It also helps with, I'm going to say, professionalism, just having something that you have just a nice setup thing where you don't have like McDonald's wrappers and trash just like on camera, right? Stuff like that. Right, for me, I have like a bunch of, medical stuff that's just right here, right? I've got my drink, I have my phone and all my other things that I need within arm's reach, but it's not in screen, so those aren't things that are seen. So you want to keep that in mind. So have that conversation with them, make sure that they know. If you are doing an AmpGuard event, be in garb. Having just being there in mundane clothes doesn't quite feel like you're at AmpGuard, right? Right now, we could really just use that feeling of that connection with our game. Especially if you're doing an AmpGuard event, right? You want to have that connection with AmpGuard. So try to have garb if you have it. That can help, again, just with that visual, with that sort of connected thing. I find it helps. So that's definitely why I do it. So that's the thing. Yeah, Zoom. Good note. Zoom has a thing where you can have backgrounds set up. There's also other things where you can do with green screens and crazy nonsense. If you've got it, hey, awesome. But yeah, there's definitely programs that you can use that will do all sorts of stuff. You can be in space. You can be surrounded by cats if you have no cats. There's so much. Yeah. OBS. Oh my gosh. OBS is OP for online stuff. I would definitely suggest it. Do I understand it? No. But oh gosh darn, my Techcrat 110% does. I have it on literally right now with this. This is what it's being used for. What does OBS stand for? That's a fantastic question, and I'm gonna hope that Sir Woonjo is listening to this class right now and is gonna type the answer to you in the chat. I mean, what? Could be anyone. But yeah, if there's anyone else, Dame Milana, if you want to answer that, feel free. If anyone else knows it, of course. But yeah, unfortunately, I do not know what it stands for. It's only ever been told to me as OBS. Hey! Thank you, both of you. You're wonderful. Open Broadcaster Software. There we go. Side tip for folks that are ever being in a situation with their instructor. If you don't know an answer, just tell them you don't know, but that you'll try to find somebody that does. Help direct them to somebody that will have an answer, but never guess. That's the one thing. One random side tip. Okay. There's all your tests. Okay, cool. So other sorts of prep. Gosh, there's a lot. Okay. Something that I have found useful, and this will go into the open line of communication. I will have a Facebook group for the Crats. It'll have the same image as the event page, but it will be covered in under construction tape. And that's where we do all the planning. I will talk with each group that I'm working with. I will post any relevant information to them. I will ask them periodically if they have any questions, if any questions have come up, if they need assistance with anything, or if they need anything. I will also ask that they post that they have read it when they see the message. This is important because you don't know if they see it or not. You might have all of the information in the world, all of the answers for them, and if they don't read that message, it's useless to them. So check in to make sure that they have seen the message and that they understand it. So have them reply. Give it some time. If they do not reply, then go into other places of communication. This can be Facebook Messenger. This could be Discord. This could be, if you have it, a text message or a phone call. Know different ways to get in contact with them and use those, right? Say, hey, if you got a second, I left you a message on there. If you could read it real quick and reply that you've seen it when you do, awesome, right? But don't just leave it up and hope that they got it, because there's a very high likelihood that they won't. If they don't have their notifications set to it, if they don't follow their notifications, if Facebook is just doing this random algorithm thing where it's not gonna, you're not gonna find it, you're not gonna see it, you glance over it, or even if they go and they see it and then they go, oh, I gotta do this thing, I'll go and check it out later, and then forget to because they've already hit it and the notification's not gonna come back on and remind them. Those are all things. But there's also another thing that I like to do other than just the Facebook crap page. Because we do stuff on Discord, and when we run the events on Discord, I do a green room. So it's specifically it's a private Discord voice chat and text chat that is a role that can be assigned to them, and only those that have that role can see the rooms or access them. This is a place that not only that you can communicate with them beforehand. If they do better with Discord, they get notifications easier if they spend more time there. But it's a place that you can be communicating live during the event, especially if they are doing the event on Discord. You can give them the 5-minute warnings there, right? You can give them the, hey, you're on deck, or hey, this is running a little late. This is going to start now at this time. We've adjusted on the schedule, right? Anything that's going to change on the fly. Even just, hey, check in. Is everyone doing good, right? Hyping them up, keeping them encouraged, having that, line of communication. It's important that you be able to communicate during the event and having a space to do it. It is also important for that to be private. If stuff is going down, you're panicking and things are going awry, if your crats are panicking and you have to try to calm them, solve whatever issue they might be having, you don't want that to be a thing where 80 attendees are going to watch somebody be panicking about the event that you're attending. They don't need to see that. That's not creating a comfortable, safe environment for your staff. You want to have those private conversations in private. And again, I'm going to go back to that professionalism. When you are in theater, there is specific locations that you do things, you do all that controlled chaos, right? That's where everything's happening. It's not happening on stage. All of that prep work, all of the costuming and makeup and sets and the transitions and the communication with the performers and the orchestra pit and the lighting and the sound and right, everything else, even just the folks that are, the ushers, right? All of that is happening off stage. So having a space that can represent that for your event can be really, really useful. Some folks I've seen do this through Facebook Messenger. There's other places that you can do it. I personally just really like doing the green room on Discord because you can have the voice chat on there too. So basically how I have it is before somebody's time slot, right, I will go onto voice chat and they'll know that I'm there, that they can just jump on and have instant vocal conversation with me. They know that I'm there. They can see me there. They know that there's that safety blanket of sorts, right? If Wunjo is doing all of the operation things and I can go into a separate room and have my headset on and be able to have a quick check-in with them, make sure that they're good to go, answer any sort of questions that they might have, right? And give them that last bit of encouragement. You got this. And check in with them and go, I will check in with you after. If you need anything throughout the thing, I'll be on headset. I'll be there if you need me, right? Just, again, right, you want to make sure that they feel comfortable, that they feel supported, and that they're not just going to be, left out by themselves and good luck, okay, bye, right? I think the big thing to remember is that for a lot of folks, this is a new experience. And presenting where it's just you and a camera and no one else in your room, you can't see or hear your audience. If you're in one of those types of things, especially if you're doing something on Twitch, that is an adjustment period. It's still very weird for me to do it, I'll be honest. I'm getting to the point to where it feels more natural, more comfortable, and I really, really love the chat, because I know that folks are there. I can see them talking, I can see the names, I can see, you know, how many people, right, there's like a counter at the top. I can tell how many people are actually watching at a time. I can see that folks are there. I have that visual. But otherwise, if I didn't, oh my gosh, it would be so disorienting. Even just having my visual up so I can see that my slides are here, I can see myself, so I can see if I'm in frame, if I'm doing something where all of a sudden, right, something has fallen down, or, you know, my feathers have fallen off my hat or something, like who knows, right? Being able to just see everything just is very, very helpful. You might end up with somebody that has been teaching for years, and all of a sudden you have them signed up, and they feel that they can do it, but they get on there and they freeze entirely. Being able to have somewhere where you can go, hey, you're doing good, hang in there, right? Just, I'm right here, you've got this, just go through your stuff, you've done this a million times, right? Whatever you need to do, just letting them know that you are there can really help them through it. Just try to remember that there's going to be folks where this is an uncomfortable thing, or something that is completely new to them. Stage fright's a thing, and this does not help that. So just have that in mind. Now, other folks are pros at this, have been streaming, do like gaming streams, and have been doing it long before the pandemic ever started. And for them, this is nothing. It's easy breezy. It's great when you have those folks, you know, as part of your CRAT team, because you know that they're very familiar and comfortable in that space. You know that they're not going to freeze, they're not going to panic, because this is just second nature to them now. So for those folks, you don't have to handhold, right? You don't have to be so much of that security blanket for them, right? It's going to be very, very important that you know the folks that you're working with. You know those things. You know who needs you there and who doesn't. Know your staff, right? Again, that involves talking with them, getting to know them if they are strangers to you, or if they're acquaintances even. Just open line of communication. Get to know your folks. I think that's important just as a volunteer thing in general. I think it's important to care about your volunteers. I think it's important to know their situation, to know them. If you're just using them and you don't care about them, and they come and do the thing, there isn't that connection. That isn't, you know, but that's me. I'm again very hands-on, very empathetic. Like I care too much. That's my problem. I care too much. But I hope that at least that's a comfort thing for the staff that I work with, because I hope that they genuinely know that I care about them and that I appreciate them, which is going to be the last thing that's in complete and utter bull, because that's so incredibly important. I'm going to go into that a bit. Before I get way off topic, have that open line of communication where you have multiple points that you can communicate with them. Tag them. Don't just put up a thing and hope that they see it. Tag them. There's, right, again, you've got Facebook, you've got Messenger, you've got Discord. If you're doing stuff on Zoom, right, there's text things in Zoom. There's lots of different things, but know all of your options and make sure that you don't just do one and hope they see it. Check in, make sure that they got it. Moderators. So there's a thing where you'll get bots that will randomly come and crash your stuff. You'll get folks that are not amp guarders and are just there to troll you, and they will show up and they will wreak havoc. It's really important that you have moderators to deal with that. Otherwise, right, you're also going to be in certain circumstances, like if you're doing Discord, for instance. I'm going to use Discord because that's like the main thing of where we operate in the Nine Blades. For our Discord moderators, right, we can server mute folks. So if you have a bardic going on and somebody pops on in the middle of someone's song and they have a hot mic, or they have voice activated on and don't realize it, and then they start just like yelling to the other person in the room in the middle of someone's song, right? We as moderators can go, whoop, mute, right? And then when the song is up, you unmute them, go, hey, you got a hot mic, or your mic is on, whatever, right? And then they can adjust as needed. But not having somebody there that can hit that button, to know that there's a button, to have the roles assigned to them, to be able to have the authority to push that button, to have the access of that button existing. You need to have the moderators. If you have folks that aren't familiar with the platform that you're using, having a moderator there that can explain how to adjust volume settings, explain how the different text and voice channels work. If they don't know how to get onto the voice thing and they're on the text thing, right? Being able to explain how to do those. The difference between settings on your phone versus your laptop, stuff like that, right? Moderators can do that. So it's important to have those in place. And, right, again, if you are in a really extreme situation where you have a non-amp guarder that is there to troll you, they can mute or even ban those players. No, sorry. Let me preface this. When I say ban, I mean that in the platform sense of the can disconnect you and take you off of that current thing at that moment. They do not have the authority to ban players. That is a trio officer thing, right? That is your chancellor, your guildmaster of Reeves, and your monarch. They have the authority to ban people. Thank you. Remove them. Thank you, Faywellen. As usual, you are so extremely helpful and has always had my back in these things. And is a trio officer. And a moderator now. Yeah. All the things. You're wonderful. I appreciate you. The mods have the ability to remove individuals in that moment. There. Which usually they have been given the authority to do that through the trio officers. And a lot of times the trio officers are moderators. So that's a good thing. There. So I was just reading, I didn't want to sing. Lol, two of my moderators at this event were Kingdom Monarchs, so they could have, technically, yes. That's legit. Yeah, when in doubt, yeah, have the Kingdom Monarch just be a mod. They can super handle that. And it was literally the last class that I did. Literally, the name was ISIS. Like, how does Twitch even allow that name to exist? Yeah, and they just started. So, again, super fortunate. I had a moderator. That individual was, the comments were removed. The person was banned from my chat thing here. And quick and over, and that was it. Was not an issue for the rest of the class. But if I didn't have a moderator there, oof, that would have been bad. So have your moderator set up. Remember to hydrate. And again, make sure that your moderators know what you need them to do. Don't just assume that they understand the structure of your event. Don't assume that they know what the Autocrat wants them to do for that event. Make no assumptions. Just open, clear communication. Have that meeting. And just be very clear with your expectations, and make sure that they're available at specific days and times, right, for the thing. If you don't ever tell them what time that they're needed or the date that they're needed, then you haven't actually gotten them to you haven't hired them to do the thing, because they don't know when and where to show up. So you have successfully not actually hired them. So that's definitely a thing. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, yeah. Llewellyn, has a good point here. As a mod, commit and be transparent on your availability. Hard yes. Oh my goodness gracious. It's really important, especially if you're doing like a long marathon of an event. If you have only one mod, expecting them to do the entire time by themselves is extreme. You should have a team. You should have the time split up, and know who is available for which time slots. It's also important that if you are a mod, if you need to tap out, that you get a mod to replace you, that you communicate with them that you need that, and don't just bail, like, right, just go, hey, I need to take care of this thing, can you swap in for me? Cool, okay, you got this. I let them know that you're here, and then I leave for this, right? I'll be back at X time, right? Make sure that you come back and relieve them. Don't just go, yeah, I just need to go take care of this thing and I'll be right back, and then leave them there for 6 hours, right? That happens. So, be cautious. Make sure that, you're not just gonna leave somebody high and dry like that. Again, that goes into what you're expecting of them, making very clear what your expectations are, and for them to understand what is needed and what they can do and what they're comfortable with. And that there is a backup if they can't do what they intended to do. There's going to be all sorts of things where real life just does stuff, where there's an emergency situation, or a plethora of other things, things that are unexpected, where all of a sudden, even though they had full intention, had the ability at the time to commit to a thing, all of a sudden there is a drastic thing that's like immediate, time sensitive, cannot, right? Sorry, my house is on fire, right? Like, didn't plan for that to happen. You would have been reliable otherwise. Gotta deal with the thing. Also, I guess if that happens, don't worry about the commute. Just get out of the building. Sidetracking. Okay. Right, film stream. If you are streaming, make sure that it is very clear that it is a stream. That it will be live streamed. Communicate that that's a live stream. That it is, especially if you are not filming it. If it is just, if you weren't here at the time, sorry, you missed this whole entire thing. Be clear about that. Make sure that you state if there will be a recording available later. Understand that there are going to be circumstances where something goes wrong and there is an error where you tried to film it and it did not work. That does happen. That happened at Paragon Boot Camp. We did a test to make sure that it worked, and then did the whole Paragon panel, and the thing got corrupted somehow or something of that nature, and we weren't able to view it afterwards. That was not the intent. We did a whole entire, like, we did a whole recording of a class prepper in preparation for it, and all the tests were solid. So it didn't make any sense that went down, but it did. So things are going to happen. I think the biggest thing to just understand that this is an environment where technical difficulties are going to happen. Understand that they will happen. The severity and the length of it will vary as well. It might be just a second thing of, oh, their camera went off and went back on, and that's the only thing that happened the entire time. Or it could be the internet crashes and you lose everything. And the person is unavailable for an hour. Or can never come back. Literally just their internet goes and you don't have them for the rest of the event. That happens. So it's important to just keep a level head, have a techcrat that knows what they're doing, that is able to troubleshoot issues as they come up. And again, communicate as best you can with your audience, what is going on, to help them in those situations, so they don't just go, oh, well, I guess the event is over, and then they leave, right? If you have a quick thing, gremlins, yes. So Wunjo has specific slides that he has for technical difficulties. He's like designed these like gremlins, technical difficulty gremlins, and so if you come to one of my events, if the gremlins happen, you'll end up with a little badge on the top of your screen, and every time it happens, you get more goblin or gremlin badges. So that's an Easter egg. So if you go back to any of the events previously that I've done, if you see any of those, that means that there was a technical difficulty at some point during that instructor's thing. So that's like, so you can see that it was like, I think it says like Gremlins was here. It's very silly, and I actually get very excited when they pop up. It's like, yes, it happened. It's like a crazy storyline. It's like a really nonsense thing. Right, have fun with it. The biggest thing is don't get down on yourself. Don't get too hard on yourself. When those things happen, don't panic. Just figure out what's going to happen, what's happening. Try to troubleshoot as best you can. Be adaptable and flexible, and have backup plans. Okay. And again, right, I'm going to say it's just a rehashing of a previous thing. If you have the ability to record things, especially for classes, please do so. They are going to be really useful for folks that cannot attend them live, and for folks that could use the information in the future, if that's something that is valuable to them, right? Posterity. Make sure that you're able to do those if you can't, right? Especially things like court. When you have big awards going out, you don't want a situation where the individual that is getting the award didn't get to see the presentation, or if it's somebody that's close to them, or maybe family members, if they didn't know about it or weren't available, that there is a recording of it so that they can go back and see it. So even if they weren't there live when it happened, they still have a chance to see that, and to see how people reacted to it, right? That's important. So as an autocrat, make sure that that's something that you can do for your attendees. Okay. Oh, I've already gone over troubleshooting for technical difficulties. So I'm going to wrap this up with appreciation for your team. This one I cannot express enough. We are a game of volunteers. Everything that we do, we're not getting paid for it. This is purely folks willing to give their time and energy and knowledge and experience and drive and love for what we do. This is they do that, and that's not something to take lightly. We only have our volunteers so long as we appreciate them and treat them well, and if we don't, we lose them, and rightly so. So I think it's extremely crucial that you appreciate them, that you tell them that you appreciate them, sincerely mean it. Know the folks that you're working with, talk with them, thank them, and where applicable, put in those award recommendations. Most kingdoms have award recommendations, and again, I'm gonna give that shout out to Dame Alana Two Trees. They have a list with every kingdom's award recommendation surveys right now, which is outstanding. That is a huge resource. So I would say absolutely, right? Especially if you have crats from other kingdoms. Do not assume that their monarchy even knows that they did a thing. Don't assume that even in your own park or kingdom, don't assume that the regents or monarchs or whoever might be giving out awards, that they know who did what, how much work was put into a thing, who was involved, any of that. Don't assume that that's a known thing. I find that folks that run events get overlooked a lot. It's a huge, huge thing. And the two biggies I find is either the Autocrat will get something and the rest of the crats won't, or all of the crats will get something and then the Autocrat won't. That usually happens when the Autocrat is putting in recommendations for everyone else and not for themselves, right? And then no one's putting in ones for the Autocrat. So those are two things that happen. So I would say if you are an Autocrat, make sure you're putting in those recommendations for your team. Go through literally each person, go, okay, got the orc, right? Know them, know what their name is, know where their kingdom and park is. Look where they're at. See where they are for smiths or roses or lions, if they're doing any sort of leadership thing, right? If they're the head of a crat team, that's a thing. If they're running an activity, a quest, something like that, doing teaching, right? That's a smith. If it's just an overall service to the game, that's a rose, right? There's, even if you've got a group where it's too high to give them something, right? Flames, those are things. Zodiacs are things, right? Look to your Kingdom Scapora and see what the available awards are for folks. Look into the rule book. There's, if you're not sure what award that it might be under, right? The rule book goes through basically what those things are. You might not know, and that's okay. Just say, hey, this person did an outstanding job at this event. This is what they did. I would like to put them in for an award, some sort of recognition. I will leave it to your expertise to decide which ladder path is most appropriate. Right? You can put in recommendations even if you're not sure what thing it should be for. Just make sure that your officers know that a thing has been done, and then the officer can go and look into that for themselves and make those determinations, right? Because either way, at the end of the day, it's the officers that are going to make those determinations. Even if you put somebody in for X award, right, they can change what award it ends up being. Because at the end of the day, they're recommendations. They're not orders. They're not, here, you must give them this, right? That's not how that works. So be kind to your officers as well, I'm going to say. They are volunteers as well. Make their lives easier by giving them the recommendations instead of going, hey, well, I hope you just paid attention to every single staff member, even though you didn't know everyone that was on the staff and you didn't know any of the behind the scenes work that they did. I'm just going to assume that they're going to take the time to just deep dive into that event. Don't assume that, and that's a lot of work. For an autocrat, you know all that stuff down pat. You know you on the back of your hand, you know every single person that that was a part of your event, and you know everything that they did. If you've done your down bright, you know everything that they did. So please, please, please make sure that you're getting those recommendations in, because that is the best way to make sure that that thank you is happening. That is a way that you can show your appreciation to your team, is making sure that they're not going to get overlooked, because a lot of folks get overlooked for these things. So please, please, please do your part as an autocrat and make sure folks are getting those shout outs in one way or another. Okay. Doop, doop, doop. Dame Milana says, wreck yourself before you check yourself. That's amazing. Oh my goodness gracious. Yep, that's fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna quickly just scroll through chat real quick to see if there are any other questions that were on here that I might have missed. I'll pop that down. At this point, we're an open AMA, so if you have any questions, anything that you would like me to cover, anything that you would like me to go into more in depth, or if you have a hypothetical, if you have an actual real life situation that you want to brainstorm, if you want to troubleshoot, random bit of advice or whatever might be the case, this is the time. Ask any questions that you got. That's where we are right now. I'm gonna quickly check chat to see if there are any questions on here already that I may have missed or did not see. But again, there's a 20-second delay, so make sure while I'm doing this, you're typing the thing so I can get to those as soon as I am done. And I'll be sure to do the customary 20-second silly dance. Bits, I'm gonna quickly. Oh, nope, sorry. Yep, Leo, I'm gonna quickly go over your question again to make sure that I covered all of the points that were in there. Okay. Oh, I didn't cover that one. How do you make sure you're not taking on too much as an autocrat? So sorry. That's a tricky one. That can be tricky. I think it's a thing that comes with time and experience of doing it. It's how you deal with it is to delegate. It's knowing what you're comfortable with, what you have the time to do, and things that you need to do because there isn't someone else that can do it. That sort of thing. There's going to be things where you're going to end up having to do stuff. But more or less, the big thing for autocrating is delegation. It's making sure that you have folks to run teams and to facilitate things. Because when it comes down to it, you're going to be in a situation where if you have a crat that drops out last minute, you're all of a sudden going to get stuck doing that thing. If somebody isn't able to finish a thing, you might end up having to finish that thing. Figure that your workload is going to minimum double. So don't give yourself the amount of tasks that are already pushing the limit of what you can handle and what you have the time for, because you are going to also get anything that gets dropped. Anything where an emergency came up, some last minute switch up happens where all of a sudden it gets dropped to you. that's going to be a workload thing. So just go in mind knowing that that's the thing that can happen, and delegate as much as you can. Make sure that the big thing for you is going to be when all is said and done, you can delegate most things and then have your role be communication and facilitation. Right, you can even have somebody that makes posts for you. That can be the hype master general, right? There's lots of things that that you're gonna have to be responsible for, but you can delegate those things, and your job is to making sure that those things are being done, right? I think that's also a thing. Don't just delegate something and assume that it's going to be taken care of. Assume that they did it or that it will be done. You're going to end up in situations where there'll be a breakdown in communication, and if you don't do a check-in, right, they might have forgotten to do it. They might have not been able to do it and felt ashamed and have been just holding off telling you because they didn't know how to tell you and they were embarrassed, or they didn't want to upset or disappoint you, and they leave it to last minute, and then they drop it on you last minute and go, yeah, I didn't know how to tell you, but like a month ago I this happened and I haven't been able to do it since, and didn't tell you. So if you don't have that line of communication, that can happen. So that's why it's so important to be checking in with them periodically throughout the process. To be just, hey, is anyone having any difficulties? Does anyone need anything done? Is everyone still good? Is everyone still on board? Does anyone have any questions? Have any questions came up since last time we talked? Just keep those check-ins happening, because otherwise things will go down and you won't know about it, and that's when your workload is going to grow exponentially, because there were things that got dumped on you. There's going to be things also that you're not going to be able to foresee, and all of a sudden you will have a workload issue on top of it. So just the biggest thing is make sure that you have an open line of communication and you are facilitating and communicating. Make that the main structure of your job. Creating the event, creating the bid, putting together the team, communicating with them, and then making sure everything, making sure you've got like a checklist and check those boxes as you go, and make sure that everyone that you gave a job to is doing those jobs, and check off as you go that they've done those. And then again, facilitate during. Make sure that open line of communication is happening, that you are communicating throughout the whole thing, and that you're also communicating and making clear everything that's going on with your audience. So that should be your main job set as you're going. Everything else you should be delegating. Because if you are putting all of your time and energy into those things, there's not enough time in the day during the event. You're not going to be able to be everywhere at once. You're not going to be able to be typing and checking in with all these different posts and all these other PMs that you're going to get and stuff like that. That's going to be too much stuff for you, while also trying to make sure that you have something moving and working like clockwork, getting everything boop, boop, boop as it goes, right? It's very chaotic. It's very quick, to make sure that everything is happening on schedule, and that you are also able to handle a large crew, right? Last event I ran, I think I had a staff of like 28 people that I had to coordinate with. So it was a lot of people. Now, take that and then getting random messages asking questions from attendees. Well, I'm also getting questions from 28, possibly 28 people. That's a lot of messages. Well, I'm also trying to make sure everything's working like clockwork. That's going to cut into that time. So even if you need somebody else to be, hey, if questions come in for this, Can you be the person that answers those questions, right? Stuff like that. Delegate as much as you can. Okay. Do you have a conversation with them about their communication styles? Yes, absolutely. I also have conversations with them about my communication styles. I have a language-based learning disability, so for me, text is very, very difficult. So that is not my main form of communication. So even when I'm doing stuff on Messenger, right, what I'll be using is a voice chat feature that they have. You can do recorded messages. It records about a minute at a time, so you can just do multiple 1 minute, sections, and you can have a whole conversation with folks just through that, where you don't have to do a voice call, you don't have to do a video chat or anything like that, right? You can literally just press the thing, say your message, let go, and then it instantly pops up for them and they can listen to it. So that's what I prefer to do. But if it's a quick, 1 or 2 answer, 1 or 2 word like reply, sure, I'm just gonna do a quick little thing and type that up. That's not gonna be an issue. But if I'm like actually having a conversation or have to explain something that's kind of difficult to explain, I'm absolutely gonna be doing that through voice. Now there's gonna be some folks that have issues with voice where that's not a possibility. I've worked with folks that had auditory issues, processing issues, sensory overload issues where I had to communicate through text with them. And as an autocrat, I will take that bullet for myself, even though it makes it a lot harder on me. I am there to help them. So needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. So my job is to help them, and I will do that in any way I can. So even though it's very hard for me, it is crucial for them. So I will do that. But yes, overall, talk with them and see what their main form of communication is, and then also figure out where their main communication is. So if they're always on Discord and they rarely ever check Facebook, Facebook's not going to be the main place that you're going to talk with them. I also, big thing of main tool for me is I always have a notebook and a pen in there, all points, within arm's reach. Anything that randomly will come up, I will write it down. Trying to remember every conversation, every random thing that you have to do, a meeting you have to set up, all the sorts of things that you have to do to coordinate a lot of people and a lot of activities. Just trying to just have that list memorized, you're gonna lose something. So write it down. Write down every single thing. And checkbox. Like I love making checklists. To-do lists is everything for me. I will know what I got done, and I will know what I need to do. And I will even do a thing where I do it in a 2-step process. I'll have a box, and when I do it, or it's like pretty much done, I'll put just a single line through it, and then when it's 100% locked in, I will put the other side creating the X. So I have like a 2-step method of crossing something off. So that's my personal organizational style. That might not be what works best for you. So the biggest thing is, the main thing of this is organizing and communicating. So whatever the best method for you is, try to figure out what that is, and then that's going to be what you're going to want to do. I hope that helps. Okay. Methods of support for your CRAT team. For mine, it's a lot of again, asking, checking in, plus appreciation and motivation. When you're dealing with an event where, you know, you're a couple months out, or even a month out, it can be a long waiting period. Keeping folks feeling connected as a team, getting them to stay excited about the event itself, about what they're doing, and also, especially if they've got a lot of workload, if they have a lot of stuff in their own personal life, making sure that they feel supported, that they feel appreciated. You don't want to just have a quick thank you at the end. Just, hey, thanks. And then, like, that's it. Right. You want to make sure that you are periodically, right, when you have them in, thank them. After you've had that, you know, voice meeting, make sure you thank them again, right? After they've done their thing, thank them again. Make a post, thank them there. And then put in those award recommendations, right? It's a multi-step thing, and it's not just a one and done. And it's a lot of just facilitate and communicate with whatever they need. Make sure that they have the support and they have the tools. Whatever they need, make sure that if you can't do it yourself, that you're finding somebody that can help them. You are, again, you're facilitating. Every part of this is facilitating. So again, that's my personal style. So for tech tests, the amount of time varies from person to person. If it's somebody that you've worked with before, that's a real quick test. You know their setup, you know what room they're going to be doing it in, how their lighting is. You don't have to do a lot of troubleshooting. So for other folks, I think the longest tech test we've done is like 45 minutes. That's when, hello Trey. This is my cat Trey. Hi buddy. I think the biggest thing is, what makes it long is when there are issues, when the person isn't prepared, when just stuff like that. Basically, you want to give them a checklist of things that they need to do ahead of time, what they need set up, and all of that prior to the tech test itself, so that you don't just go, okay, I'm going to need you to be in the location, have the right lighting, have the right device and the right, if you're using a headset, to use that. If you don't tell them that ahead of time, then it's going to take forever, because then they have to go and set up each one of those things. It will take forever. So again, communication. Make sure you just have a list of what you need them to have prepared or to do in that tech test, so that when you do, right, throw on the camera, you can just go, okay, here we go. Let's go through the list. Okay, you've got that, you got that, you got that. Cool. This is what your internet speed is. Okay, this is what we're probably going to be dealing with. Okay, so we're having some issues with your camera keeps freezing. Okay, let's figure out what's causing that. Okay, I can't hear you right now, so let's figure out that, right? Like, you're going to troubleshoot all of any issues that are coming up. It's a lot of settings. It's a lot of figuring out settings, making sure that they know their setup and troubleshoot what things are, making sure that you know if there's an issue on your end or their end, which end it is, because if it's on your end and they're trying to troubleshoot all the sorts of stuff with their end, and it's something that it's a setting thing on your end, yeah, it's gonna take forever. So again, this is where your techcrat is going to be absolutely essential. Now for me, again, this goes into my own personal style of things. I value folks' time. There is not enough time in the day, and for those that know the spoon theory, not enough spoons. So what I like to do is have my my meeting, my check-in with them for that. That's my chance for them to see me, to hear me, that I can see them, right? And I can go over the schedule, I can go over what they're doing at the event, and just make sure that they're good, they don't have any other questions, that I'm going to take care of whatever they need, right? Any notes I need to make, what name they want posted, right? If they have any specific titles or anything like that, that they like to have with their name, how they want to be introduced, that sort of thing. If they need a 10-minute, a 30-minute, a 5-minute warning when they're getting close to their the end of their time slot, right? Some folks will have very specific things. They're like, oh yeah, no, just give me a 5-minute and I'm good. Some people will be like, can you give me a 30-minute, a 15-minute, a 5-minute, and a 1-minute, right? Like, they need multiple things. And I will write all of that down. So for each person, I'll have it customized to them what their needs are for those things. Other folks are just like, nope, I'm really good with time. I don't need anything like that. I'll be staring at the clock as we go. I'll have a timer on whatever, right? You'll just, right, you'll make that note. If you see any concern, right, make sure that, if it looks like they really don't have it and they're 5 minutes in and they don't seem like even halfway done, you're probably going to want to give that 5-minute thing, even though they said that they don't need it, they might end up needing it, something like that, right? But yeah, I like to have voice chats with all of my staff, and it's just easier to do it during the tech test because that's a time that they're scheduling to get through all that stuff anyways. So doing it at the same time is, I have found, tends to be a convenient thing for them. But yeah, so, okay, I think that's it. Please let me know if there's anything that I didn't cover on there. Check if there's any other questions. Also, just a reminder, folks, if you have not signed in yet, please feel free to grab yourself a credit on the Nine Blades Discord. We are on the Nine Blades scheduled event, so if you go into the text channel there, we have the Amped bot. So if you are from another kingdom and you have a Discord that uses the Amped bot, it is the same commands, same exact thing. So yeah, you just do that, and it's all good. And you do not need to be from the Nine Blades to take a credit. Also, just want to be clear on that. We do have Traveler credits. Okay, quick. Okay. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you cards. I got a thank you card for teaching an online class for Belgarth Realm, and it literally made my week. That's really cool. Yeah, again, every autocrat will have their own particular style of doing things. That's a really neat way of doing that. I like that a lot. Wunjo, if you're still on here, we got a random thing. Mod, please. Okay, they wanted the tech test with hats. Okay. We did a tech test where we had really silly hats, and we kept on changing our hats as we were doing the tech test. And there was a point where Varen and Feywellen had like matching hats, and Wunjo and I had matching hats, and they were both just really ridiculous sets of hats. And I actually have a picture of us doing the tech test with those hats, and it was hilarious, and I love that photo so very much. Like me and Wunjo had like squid hats. There's like squids. It's so much fun. But yeah, have fun. Remember that this doesn't have to be a super serious, all business thing, right? We're playing a game. We're creating an event, for the entertainment of others. Have fun. But yeah, best way, silly hats, done. I'm a huge advocate for hats, if you couldn't tell. So yes, absolutely. Okay. If there are any other questions at this point, please let me know. We're gonna wrap up otherwise. Any last minute questions, anything you want me to go over, if you have anything you want to do a quick brainstorm, or could use some advice, or a random whatever you need. This is the AMA portion. This is the time. Again, you can put that in the Discord or the Twitch chat here. Either one is totally fine. Again, 20-second delay, so this is the time. In the meantime, I'm gonna do the 20-second. Oh wait, no, we already have a question. I have a question. How do you always look fabulous? How dare you? Oh my gosh. Hi, Grim. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a real answer for this, actually. Preparation. It all goes into preparation. When you are about to do an event, and you are going to be doing garb, make a determination of what you're gonna wear ahead of time. You can do it like the night before or whatever, and like literally lay everything out. I literally start prepping for this class 2 hours ahead of time. So yeah, and I do the ribbon braids and the beading of my hair the night before, and I do my nails the night before. Like when I say the night before, I mean like 6 a.m. when I go to bed. And I do this thing where I'll do I'll wrap everything up in the back, and wear a wig cap, so I don't mess it all up while I'm sleeping, because I toss and turn a whole bunch. Yeah, and then I go and while I'm doing my makeup and my garb stuff, I just take it all down, make sure all the beads are flipped into the right direction, and yeah, put my contacts in because I wear glasses normally. But yeah, I have my everything preset, laid out the night before. I do all like most of the set dress the night before as well, because usually there's an ottoman right here. This fur blanket thing is not here normally. These pillows that I use to support my spine during these classes are not usually in this configuration. Yeah, so basically, preparation. The answer is preparation. Have a thing planned out. Also, especially for those that right, we haven't been fielding. For those that haven't, don't do these, aren't on this like doing these things bi-weekly. You might not realize where all of the pieces of your garb are. You might have packed them away or stored them or put them in a different bag, or you might have things separated in different locations. If you have any sort of like accessories or something like that, when you are about to get dressed and do the thing, you might be like, I have everything except for, like, my shirt. Where is my chemise that goes under my bodice? Like something like that. You might just be like, oh, nope, I can't find it. And then you have to go on in 30 minutes and half of your garb is missing. And then you have to then tear your house apart trying to find, like, half of your garb. So the real answer of that is prep ahead of time, have everything pre-planned. So when you get up and you have, give yourself enough time to get dressed, and do whatever prep stuff that you like to do. But yeah, have everything preset beforehand so that you're not running around trying to find everything last minute. So, real answer. Okay, so that's actually legit. That's legit. Braid hair, paint nails, tell Faye good morning, and sleep. Yeah, so Faywellen usually wakes up when I go to bed, so I'll usually send her a quick voice message before I go to bed saying good morning. So yeah, that's part of my prep. I'll do my like I literally will do that. I'll literally do braid and bead my hair and do my nails, and then at 6 o'clock in the morning tell Faywellen good morning, and then I go to bed. That's true. It's actually super legit. Yep. Okay. So this is the point where I will do the 20-second silly dance as is tradition. For any last minute questions that anyone might have. Started this tradition almost like a year and a half ago, I think. It might have been like my first class. We realized it was 20 seconds, and I didn't know what to do with 20 seconds of time. And I was just like, I'm just gonna dance for 20 seconds, silly dance. And then Rajavia suggested that I do jazz hands, so I always end the 20 seconds dance with jazz hands. Super essential. It has to be silly, it has to be a form of dance, and it has to have jazz hands. But the secret is it's never actually 20 seconds. So it's important you get those in quickly, because my 20-second silly dance is not 20 seconds. So there's going to be a little bit of extra time of me taking a drink, checking to see if it's on Discord or Twitch. Oh, looks good. Okay. In that case, we will wrap stuff up. Thank you so very much, everyone here that watched this class. Again, last check-in for sign-ins before we close down the attendance tracker. Make sure that you get your stuff in, so you get yourself a credit. You've been here so long, you earned it. Thank you also for anyone that watches this in the future. I super appreciate you. Thank you so much for everyone for your continued support of Admiral's Academia. I could not do this without you. You are 110% the reason why I do this. So thank you for the support and watching and attending the streams. So thank you. You're wonderful. I appreciate you. So I have a new setup, and I need to figure out how to end the stream. There we go. Okay, I found it. I'm glad to do it. My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Thank you. Okay, so that's it. We're gonna end for tonight. Oh my gosh, you all are wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. I've been Admiral and Cash, just Admiral. This has been Admiral's Academia, online autocrating. Have yourself a fine evening. Take care of yourself and take care of one another.